Today I worked at Wegmans from 10:30 in the morning to 4 p.m. I restocked merchandise within the produce section. Except for the Mary's salad dressings. Because even though I saw them within the produce section, today those salad dressings Marie's by the Marie's brand. Those are found within the warehouse holding area for the dairy section. Not the holding area for produce. Relatively early on, during my shift, around noon if I recall correctly, a female coworker that is some kind of supervisor or manager that came up to me and brought me to an sort of impromptu sort of workshop somewhere within the warehouse area of the supermarket, but not too deep in there. A sort of safety meeting / workshop on proper lifting technique that lasted for about 15 or so minutes. A male coworker explained and demonstrated each of the proper lift techniques and had me do them myself to make sure I understood them. The general gist are things I knew prior to this safety meeting / workshop, which is to bend with your knees, not your back, and don't bend or twist your back. Although I also learned some new things, such as essentially using both your arms and your legs while facing forward, pulling backward, a little bit in order to overcome the inertia of either a cart or a runner from the warehouse before doing resuming what I usually do, which is to pull a cart or runner backwards with one arm. Though I'll often push a cart forward, and I'll sometimes push a runner forward. I did my usual of restocking the banana section multiple times throughout my shift. And I think around during the early afternoon, I first restocked from the mushroom runner, which didn't take me that much time, and then I restocked for the carrot and celery section of the produce department. I think roughly from 1 to 3 p.m. Because there wasn't just one runner for the carrots and celery section. A male coworker also gave me a cart with at least with its top floor initially filled with various carrot and celery products to be restocked. And I put some stuff on the bottom level of the cart to be more organized. It took me some time to figure out where to put everything I could at the time. I had 2 mild cheddar cheese sticks, both right before I started my shift. As at the time I only recall having coffee after waking up around 9 in the morning. Despite plans to wake up at 6 in the morning, I set an alarm on my laptop using a third-party website. I think because at the time I was going to talk to my dad around 6 in the morning because I wasn't sure when I initially went to bed around 3 in the morning after working on creating the custom collage of my polystyrene drawings for my birthday cake. Finishing that in Vion Studio. And then figuring out a way to take a full screenshot of that image and converting it from a PNG to a JPEG. Because at some point I was told a JPEG might be better an image to send than might be best, and then I was told it didn't matter, but then decided to take the advice anyway. But I couldn't send the email message to the team that does the custom cakes at the Wegmans Mom and I go to. Because they didn't have the order ID to put in along with the attached image, which is the custom photo. It didn't have the order ID. Until thankfully Mom answered a phone call I made around 9:15 in the morning, and then was able to tell me the ID for our custom cake. I saw my dad about 5 minutes before I ended my shift. Today at Wegmans. Immediately after the end of my shift, I got a light coat, probably too light for the weather currently, but it still worked out fine. And Dad drove me to our local Bill Gray's before he took me back to his place. We got 2 cheeseburgers and an order of fries. Though Dad accidentally gave me his cheeseburger, and so he ended up having mine instead. My burger had everything, and his was the same as mine, except, if I recall, without relish. And the cheeseburger was pretty enjoyable. With the Bill Gray's, I had one of the glass bottles of Wegmans branded kombucha, watermelon cherry flavored, and that Mom packed into a bag when Dad came to pick me up yesterday. It was perfectly fine despite it having been months since those particular bottles of kombucha were bought. Months and months. It was a little past the best by date, but not by too much. Only by a number of days. Which I don't think is a lot for kombucha. When I took my 15-minute break at 3:30 p.m., I had another 2 mild cheddar cheese sticks. And I sat within the break room for about half of it before going to the bathroom, so that I wouldn't have to go later. I think it from 9 in the morning, between 9 in the morning and 10:30 in the morning, more like 10:15 in the morning as the end time. I recall having roughly 2 cups of plain coffee, the second of which I finished while my dad drove me to the Wegmans I work at. And it was the same cup for both of those cups. Both the one I finished at Dad's place and the one I finished in the car. That cup made it home safely, thankfully. I also recall falling asleep roughly around 7 to 9:15 p.m. And I'm currently grinding campaign missions to get the ingredients I need to upgrade the workbench. One more time.